So yeah, the title is Scaling Biomanufacturing from Lab to Market, and this is exactly what we can offer. So on the next slide, you can see our Corden BioChem sites. So we have, Annika, can you move a little bit down? Yeah. Thank you so much. So we have 3 different sites, which is basically our original site in Frankfurt, our new site in Berlin since this year, and also since this year, our new site in Romania, Podari. And every of these sites has a different heritage and background. And I think it's important to understand a little bit about what we are offering, also where we are coming from. So on the next slide, you see the site in Frankfurt. So it has a long history from coming from penicillin production in the late 1940s, and then went through different stages and different companies. Sandoz was the last one. And then in 2016, it was obvious that it doesn't make not economically sense to do antibiotics production in Frankfurt anymore. So it was closed down and acquired by the ICIG group, which is like our mother company. And then a complete turnaround was done to repurpose the site for CMO activities in the field of food and feed production. So we have a complete FSSC 22000 certificate. The smallest pilot fermenter is 3,000 liter, and we have 19 times 120 cubic meter fermentation capacity, which is really like a lot, and also a dedicated DSP facility, including microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, chromatography, whatever is needed for your molecule to be purified. On the next slide, you see the heritage of our site in Podari, which is quite short story because it was just constructed or finished in 2022 as a Clariant site for the production of second generation bioethanol. And 2 years later, it was obvious that it is not economically feasible to do the production. So again, the site was, or also this site was shut down and acquired by ICIG in 2024. So it was just acquired as like cold steel without without any people on board. And now we are in the process of getting the permits back for the production and also converting that site from a monopurpose site to a multi-purpose site to offer production capacity, CMO fermentation activities in the range of 5 times 300 cubic meter for aerobic fermentation and 4 times 2,500 cubic meter for anaerobic fermentation. As this was coming from the bioethanol business, of course, the anaerobic capacity is larger. On the next slide, you see the heritage from our maybe you skip. Thank you. Yeah, you see the heritage of our development site here in Berlin. So for Berlin Biotechnology, this is now a new player, but the site has been active since nearly 25 years already. So it started as Organobalance, a startup or spin-off from the Technical University, and was then acquired 2016 by Novozymes. So it was mainly, the main purpose was the development of probiotics research and development. So this was also the time when I joined the site here. And in 2023, there was a merge from Christian Hansen and Novozymes, and it was, again, there was a decision to not continue our activities here, and it was the right time and the right place and the right people for Corden, because as you have seen, like the smallest vessel in Frankfurt is 3,000 liters, so there was an urgent need for Corden to have a development team for a smaller scale, and this is exactly what we are doing now: dedicated development team, fermentation, downstream, and analytics. Next slide, please, Annika. So this is the range, very broad product range we are offering, from food and beverages, materials, health ingredients, and personal and household care. But the services we are offering on the next slide here from Berlin is we start with the basic strain, or we can start with the basic strain screening if needed, media optimization, process development, but of course, like our key our unique selling point here is like the transfer capabilities. My time is already over, so maybe just the last slide to finish up. So why should you go to Corden BioChem in Berlin. So we develop processes with large scale in mind, and just because we know our the big vessels in Frankfurt and Podari, so we know exactly the limitations, and we know how to set up a process that is also working on large scale. We can offer like a very early technical economical assessment. So then we talk about real cost in large scale and not like paper exercise for a non-existing dedicated plant, which sometimes gives you the wrong impression about real production cost. We know like our scale-up route, so we start with, or we end here in Berlin with the 30 liter, and this next step would be like a 3,000 liter in Frankfurt. And like final capacity would be what I already mentioned, the 500 cubic meter in Podari. So we know exactly how to scale up and where to scale up, and we think we have the right scale for every task. So for example, if you want to like do media optimization, we would start with our smallest vessel, and we can offer here like 12 runs in parallel, half a liter. But we can also do food grade prototyping, which is of course important for most of our food customers, that on a very early stage we can offer like food grade samples. So yesterday we reactivated our ISO 22000 certification with a successful audit. So this is what we can offer now within this certification. Thanks for giving me the time to speak here. And yeah, here are some contact details if you want to contact me, or just click on the partnering button on the homepage from the BioPad forum. Thanks a lot.